everyone, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us here on Times Now. This is Blueprint Explosive Exclusive and I'm Heena Gambhir. Viewers, is Pakistan rattled by India's Operation Sindoor? Rattled and battered by India's Operation Sindoor? Is Pakistan now testing nukes? From dhamkis, has Pakistan moved to secretly conducting nuclear tests? Well, if US President Donald Trump is to be believed, then the answer to these questions is yes. Yes, viewers, Donald Trump, the US President, has dropped a bombshell. In an interview, he has claimed that Pakistan is conducting nuclear tests. Not just Pakistan, in fact, he has claimed that even Russia, China and North Korea are testing nukes, but they don't talk about it. Now, this particular statement, viewers, in fact, comes days after Donald Trump said that US will begin testing nuclear weapons again. That statement had the world worried. So is Trump now spilling the beans to justify his decision to test nuclear weapons after a pause of about 33 long years? We don't know. And before we dive deep into the implications of Donald Trump's statement, let's tell you a little bit about the nuclear weapons that are there in the world, the countries that have the nuclear weapons right now. And these are the countries that we're talking about which have the nuclear weapons. There are 9 countries as of 2025 who have nuclear weapons. You've got United States of America, India, UK, Russia, China, and then there are some other countries as well like France, Israel, Pakistan, and of course North Korea. Now, according to the Federation of American Scientists, as of 2025, these 9 countries hold about 12,241 nuclear warheads. Let's tell you about the countries first and also, of course, the warheads that these countries really have right now. Talking about United States of America, 3,700. That's the number of warheads that we are talking about. United Kingdom, 225. We've got Russia, 4,309. And we've got France with 290 warheads there. And also we've got Pakistan with 170 warheads. When it comes to Israel, there are 90 warheads that are there. And then you've got India with 180 of them. And clearly, China has got around 600. So this is the nuclear arsenal. This is the global nuclear arsenal. North Korea has got 50. Now, this is something that has got, in fact, the world worried because Donald Trump has said some countries are testing nuclear weapons. Now, Trump's statement is a cause of big concern as there is a pact that bans nuclear tests, which is the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty that was adopted in 1996. It is an international pact which bans nuclear tests and explosions. United States of America and China signed it but did not ratify. India committed to voluntary moratorium. India also did not sign this particular treaty in 1996. In fact, since this treaty was formed, since this came into place, 10 nuclear tests have already been conducted. 1998, we had 2 nuclear tests by India. 1998, same year, 2 nuclear tests by Pakistan. Then tests by North Korea, 2006, 2013, 2016, 2017. Of course, for North Korea, there aren't many doubts. But what Trump has said today about China, Russia and Pakistan, that's got the entire world extremely worried. Because there is something called as the International Monitoring System to detect nuclear tests. Now, this system comes under the treaty organization. Global network it is of about 300 monitoring facilities. Now, this is a system, viewers, that detects nuclear tests or explosions by several countries that have nuclear arsenal today. Now, this comes under CTBT organization. Now, this IMS can even detect smallest indication of a test. But they say there is no smoke without fire. A recent study had indicated some earthquakes too might be covert underground nuclear tests. In fact, as per a bulletin in Seismological Society of America, earthquakes could actually be hiding secret nuclear tests. So is, whatever Trump's saying, something that the world should be worried about? We're saying it because a study has found that some earthquakes might be covert nuclear tests. And of late, there have been several reports of earthquakes, especially in countries where we are seeing geopolitical tensions. Is there a connection there? We don't know. But we need to be extremely cautious going forward. Now, another finding is of this particular study that it's not really easy to distinguish between seismic events and nuclear explosions. So is this, viewers, the beginning of a nuclear test race? Let's bring to you the big questions that emerge from Donald Trump's statement. We're talking about the President of the United States of America, who has claimed that nuclear tests are going on. Has Pakistan secretly conducted nuclear tests? Another question, is Trump by this statement justifying nuclear tests by the United States of America? Is it the beginning of the end of this treaty on nuclear tests? Pakistan, China testing nukes. Should New Delhi worry? Should it be a cause of concern for India? Is it nuclear opportunity for India? It is a cause of concern, yes. But then there are some experts, viewers, who believe that this could actually be a big nuclear opportunity for India. That's what we are going to be discussing. The biggest worry, however, is that tests are underway. Chinese Foreign Ministry has responded saying, as a permanent member of UNSC, China adheres to its no first use policy. China was asked this question. It said China is committed to peaceful development. It said China is a responsible nuclear weapon state. China adheres to a no first use policy, same as India. We also have a no first use policy. We did not sign the treaty, but we adhere to this policy. We maintain a self-defensive nuclear strategy. Now, this was a statement that had come from Chinese Foreign Ministry. But the question is, when it comes to China, can we really trust China, which is the all-weather friend of Pakistan? Time will tell. But what about Pakistan? Now, remember, viewers, Pakistan has been constantly threatening India with its nuke bluff. Remember, 1999 Kargil War. Won't hesitate in using any weapon. This is what Pakistan's foreign, secretary at that time had said. In 2016, post the Uri attack, atomic weapons aren't showpieces. This is what Khwaja Asif, Pakistan's defense minister, had said. It also said, can use and eliminate India. Then in 2025, after Pahalgam, we had another shocking statement, another bluff, another threat, empty threat coming in from Pakistan. This time it was from Pakistan Minister Hanif Abbasi, who said 130 nukes kept to attack India. Then after Pahalgam, we had Sherry Rahman, Pakistani senator, who also gave an empty nuke threat to India. We have nuclear weapons, is what she had said after Pahalgam. Now listen in, viewers, to what these leaders in fact had said during Operation Sindoor. And to discuss it, I'm joined on the broadcast by Pathikrit Pain, who is a geopolitical analyst. We also have with us Faraz Saeed, who is a Pakistani journalist. Good evening to both of you, gentlemen. Pathikrit Pain, to you first. How worried should India really be with this statement of Donald Trump? In the past also, there have been several dhamkis from Pakistan about the nukes. Once again, do we see it as another empty threat?
Well, Donald Trump making statements, we always have to take with a pinch of salt. He has a habit of exaggerating. On many occasions, he has done that. So what he is saying right now, I don't know whether Pakistan will take it as a badge of honor or it will be shocked by his statement, because any statement that Pakistan is testing nuclear weapons would invariably raise questions in the US Congress asking for sanctions and stoppage of the loans from IMF and World Bank, because the country survives through those bailouts from those two financial institutions. But when it comes to, nuclear systems, let me put it this way. It requires a complex command and control system, launching mechanism, delivery mechanism. And frankly, no country has ever stopped testing nuclear weapons in a simulated non-critical environment where the real test does not happen, but a simulated environment, it happens for miniaturization. So if Pakistan is doing certain things like that, I'm sure India is pretty well aware of that.
Okay.
So far as the threats from Pakistan are concerned, we had more than 3 occasions where we had kinetic situation with Pakistan, post the nuclear test in 1998, Kargil, post Uri attack, there was a surgical strike, in post Pulwama, there was a Balakot airstrike, and then Operation Sindoor. We know they had the opportunity, but I don't think they were ever in a position to threaten us with the nuclear weapon, because they knew the consequences.
Absolutely.
The empty rhetorics by the Pakistani ministers, I think that's a different issue for the domestic audience.
Absolutely.
I don't think India is worried. If it has to take care of certain things, the tactical nuclear weapons that Pakistan talks about, I think there are enough mechanisms in place.
Well, some even say this opens an opportunity. It opens a window for India as well going forward, because even India did not really sign that particular pact, and India also has a no first use policy. Stay on with us, Pathikrit Pan. Let me go across to Faraz Saeed as well, who's joining us from Pakistan. Faraz Saeed, simple question to you: is Pakistan testing nukes?
See, so every country has a deep strategic policy, and that's not clear to even to the public. And when it comes to nuclear testing, I don't see that there's going to be an official statement from the state or from the state authorities.
So is Donald Trump lying?
You see, Donald Trump would have his own intelligence information, and I do not want to perceive Donald Trump's information as based on some, fabricated facts. But if the President of the United States is saying something, there would be some kind of veracity to it. But as far as the government of Pakistan is considered, and as far as the state's policy is considered, I don't see there's going to be anything coming up from the state this side, and I'm not a spokesperson of the government of Pakistan, so I can't really, describe or share an official statement.
Well, absolutely, no word has come from the Pakistani establishment. And Faraz Saeed, I also want to ask you, I know you're not representing the government here, but you're a Pakistani journalist. I want to understand from you. You know, just a couple of days ago, Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif was in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, and he was trying to justify to the entire world that how Pakistan is repeatedly hit by climate change, calamities, etc., etc., and why again and again there is this need to go to the international community to get some funds. You know, he was saying it, and at a time when he's going abroad, when he's seeking more funds, we have this news coming in that Pakistan is testing nukes. What will you say? Because if I'm not wrong, to conduct a nuclear test, you need some $100 million odd dollars?
You see, the intelligence communities would know much better. If Pakistan was testing nuclear weapons, I'm sure the Indian intelligence agencies would also know about that. And I'm sure there's some sort of mechanism with which the information on intelligence sharing does happen. As far as Pakistan's Prime Minister recent statements are considered, where he's saying Pakistan's hit by climate and climate crisis, that's absolutely true. But as far as your question,
fine, it seems Pakistan is just using that as an alibi. Because if we go by what Mr. Donald Trump has said, then all the money is actually that's coming in from the international community is going into funding these nuclear tests. I mean, they are quite expensive.
I mean, well, Heena, you're absolutely right. Because there will be questions asked to Donald Trump himself, who considers himself to be a great friend of Asim Munir. The questions will be asked in the US Congress as to why then United States is endorsing and advocating for funds by IMF and World Bank, knowing well that this money could have actually getting diverted for nuclear tests. And that's why I said, I don't know whether Pakistan will take it as a badge of honor for this declaration, or they will really be in a very, very tight situation, because you might see, countries clamoring for cutting down the fund that United States actually gives to Pakistan via the World Bank and the IMF. So there will be questions raised. But I think, as I stated, frankly speaking, no country has stopped testing nuclear weapons in a simulated environment. A nuclear test can be of two types. You have a real-time, a physical testing of a nuclear weapon, and the other one is a computerized simulated environment where you test it without actually having a nuclear test in reality. But the number of earthquakes in a very specific place which happened in Pakistan, even you talk to somebody who is an expert in seismology, would tell you, you cannot have a series of earthquakes in a very specific area, for a month altogether. But that's exactly what happened in Pakistan, especially after Operation Sindoor. Now, whether they were trying to diffuse some of those elements which have been probably hit as per media in Noor Khan region, or something else was going on, we may not be aware of it, but I think if the international community and Donald Trump is aware of it, then I'm sure India is also aware of it, if something has happened.
Okay. Faraz Saeed, was it a cover for these nuclear tests that Mr. Donald Trump is talking about?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Can you repeat?
Faraz Saeed, there were certain earthquakes reports that had emerged, and we also told our viewers about how some studies have revealed that earthquake seismic activity could actually be a cover for these nuclear tests, and it's quite challenging to really figure out whether it's just the seismic activity is because of an earthquake or there was a nuclear test that was carried out. So was that something that was happening in Pakistan?
I mean, there have been events of, earthquakes. I think one happened in September, one was in August. But I want to clarify one thing. Trump made this statement not in the context of Pakistan, but in the context of
defending... No, he specifically said Pakistan.
Yes,
he specifically said Pakistan. He said Pakistan is also doing it. He was trying to justify why should US not do it.
Yes, he quoted Pakistan. He said China is doing that. He said Russia is doing that. He said North Korea is doing that. So he basically made a case for the United States to continue testing nuclear. So Pakistan wasn't really the context. The world was the context in his statement.
Okay. But he declared. But do you agree that Pakistan at a time when its prime minister is moving from one country to the other, literally asking for more funds in the name of catastrophes and calamities, should actually be conducting nuclear tests, which also cost a lot of money?
The world doesn't see things like that. The world moves case by case. So when it comes to climate change, that's a reality, and we're hit by it. And of course, Pakistan needs funds to fight off climate, because we're the least contributors to the climate change.
But
when it comes to the IMF loans,
it's also for the world to see where that money is really going, where those loans from IMF and other institutions are really going. Something that these institutions should also be paying attention to.
Nina, I'm sure before Times Now reported this, the world would also know about this. The intelligence agencies would be, commenting on Pakistan's nuclear activity.
So,
and I'm sure,
shouldn't it then be a wake-up call for these international agencies who've been giving them loan after loan in the name of catastrophes and natural calamities?
Maybe the world doesn't take Times Now serious.
That question was for Pathikrit Payan.
Heena, let me put it this way. It is true that Donald Trump mentioned about Russia, China, North Korea. None of them are on bailouts by IMF and World Bank, except for Pakistan. And therefore, as I stated, that there will be severe questions the Democrats will be asking in the U.S. Congress as to, the proximity that Donald Trump has. I don't know whether Donald Trump will come again and give some kind of a clarification to somehow give a shadow, justification for his statements on Pakistan, because this is going to put some real pressure on him.
But, coming back to the moot point here, the question that I asked very quickly, that shouldn't these organizations also, and the countries, so-called friends of Pakistan, who keep funding Pakistan in the name of calamities and crisis, etc., also take note of what Pakistan is really doing with that money?
No, Pakistan, pardon me, but Pakistan is some kind of a useful idiot for them. They use Pakistan whenever it's a necessity for them. It has always been like that. They keep the Pakistan establishment pretty happy. They don't actually care what happens to the poor people of Pakistan. I mean, it's Pakistan's case, not for me to say, but frankly speaking, it is everybody knows where that money goes. If you look at right after Operation Sindoor, the money was cleared by IMF, and it was shown how the money somewhere perhaps it's actually going to the non-state actors who were hit by Operation Sindoor. It is a known fact.
All right, I'm completely out of time, but it's going to be a top focus ahead as well. For now, thank you very much, Pathikrit Payan and Faraz Saeed. Appreciate you joining us here on Times Now.